Picture this. It's the early 70s, and the amusement park scene is about to get a big shakeup in Ohio. Kings Island, the amusement park, it debuts in 1972, built by Taft Broadcasting as a successor to Cincinnati's flood-prone Coney Island. Alongside the park, they dreamed up a whole resort experience, and that's where Kings Island Inn comes in. Hello, everyone. Alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are and that's who we care about. Let's kick this off by thanking some of our Prestige members. Thank you, Aaron Bort, 330T, Logan Lipper, Brian Hauser, Lil Mac 21, Miss Mandy 1983, Jacob Fix, Steve Hornack, Eric Grau, Ian Crawford, Damon Barnes, and Dustin Jackson. Thank you guys so much for supporting Tower Topics at the highest level. That's the prestige level. If you want to be involved in Tower Topics, there's a link in the description. Members get early access to the videos, exclusive content, exclusive live streams, and hey, some tiers even get some free stuff.
So Ryan, the Kings Island Inn, it opened the same year as the park, 1972. It was designed to look like this charming alpine chalet village. Think like a Swiss-inspired architecture with a Midwestern twist. Did you ever stay there?
I went there. I checked it out one time, but no, I did not ever stay the night there.
Yeah, it was positioned, right across the street from Kings Island. They were in Mason, Ohio. It was a go-to spot for visitors who wanted to extend their thrill-seeking into an overnight adventure, as many did in the early years of Kings Island. It had 300 rooms, but it wasn't just a hotel, Ryan. It, was a full-on resort vibe that was going on there. You had the restaurant, indoor and outdoor pools, tennis courts, volleyball, half court for basketball. It had a conference center there. It was marketed as a year-round getaway, and not just a kind of a crash pad for park goers.
Yeah, 300 rooms. So big, a very big resort. It had the full resort vibe, a restaurant. I think it was called Coasters when they closed.
Yes.
Indoor and outdoor pools, tennis courts. You mentioned the sand volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, but a very big deal in those early years of Kings Island. It's pretty much the only game in town if you want to stay overnight. There wasn't anything else. They had, the campground, but there weren't all the other hotels that have popped up, now as you are within like a mile or two of Kings Island. So, definitely before the era the area was bloated with, chain hotels and the other options. But it even, it got the Hollywood spotlight too, the Kings Island Inn, because you had a scene shot there from both the Partridge Family episode filmed at Kings Island in 1972 and the Brady Bunch in 1973. So, it got some fame that way as well. And I know now when people watch those episodes, they always, they bring up the hotel now. Like, I'd wish I'd been able to go there, stay there, but missed opportunity there.
Yeah. So it was owned and operated by Kings Island's parent company, which is Taft Broadcasting at the time. Which legally kept it tied to the park's identity. That lasted until 92, when Cincinnati billionaire Carl Linder sold the park to Paramount Communications. And sometime around there, they spun off the Kings Island Inn to a different operator.
Yeah, I remember it, it kept the Kings Island name, but lost its official connection to the park. Hung on, for several years, chugging along as a standalone resort. But the competition grew with the new hotels popping up nearby. The newer ones had better amenities than that, so you knew its days were numbered as you got to around 2008, 2009.
Yeah. So by the 2000s, Kings Island Inn was kind of showing its age. Online reviews were showing kind of what it was, which was outdated decor, maybe some maintenance gripes, and let's not forget Great Wolf Lodge right across the street.
Yeah, so, it certainly didn't match up to that experience that Kings Island was providing, as that major league type of an experience, and you had the name Kings Island on the hotel still, so people expected that when they would stay there, only to be met by disappointment.
Yeah, ultimately torn down. Final blow came in 2014. Season wrapped up. Kings Island opened for 2015. Kings Island Inn did not. So it shut down officially in the offseason. Actually, I remember on KI Central the rumor going around that it was going to close because they were still booking rooms in like summer of 2014. But if you went online, it wouldn't let you book past like the end of the Kings Island season, and that's how we kind of figured it out.
Right, right, yeah. And I remember, my early years working at Kings Island because it wasn't associated with Kings Island, but because it had the name and people assumed that it was that, the call center, and that was getting bombarded with people complaining about the hotel. And then we would say, we have nothing to do with that. We're not the owners, and here, so you can contact. Well, then why's your name on it? So that battle was there for the final years of the Kings Island Inn.
Yeah. Well, anyway, torn down. Then in 2015, there was talk about putting luxury apartments there. Never happened. It actually sat there like half torn down for about a year. And in 2016, they finally finished the job.
Yep.
But I mentioned in the previous episode that the church next door, I believe, bought the property. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen.
Yeah, nothing else risen there. You're right. Just a bunch of rubble. It's kind of like that eyesore now on Kings Island Drive. You got all the other things that look really nice. The street looks nice. The lights and everything on the street look nice. And then you've got that sitting there kind of vacant. But, I think, Ryan, when you look at the Kings Island Inn, it's kind of a tale of ambition and nostalgia, of old 1970s vision to pair a cutting edge amusement park with a full resort experience. It thrived in its heydays, rubbed shoulders with TV stars like the Bradys and the Partridge Family, but it just, couldn't keep pace with changing times, so it's a classic rise and fall type of story, I think, with the Kings Island Inn, tied to the evolution of Kings Island itself, from a regional upstart to a modern thrill machine.
Exactly. And, you compare it to some of the newer destinations like Disney and Universal. They've got these sleek new resorts, but basically the concept's the same. You keep people within the bubble, so they're always on property during their entire vacation, their entire stay. And that's a very profitable venture.
Yeah, I think when it first opened, they were kind of taking a page from Disneyland's, playbook with that. And it just, as we mentioned, didn't keep up with the times, as Kings Island was evolving and growing, and that, the hotel did not. And people's expectations, changed. And, there's certain amenities in that you expect now when you go to a hotel, and that just wasn't there.
Right. Yeah, and you got to think the opportunity was always there. It bared the name of the park. It was right across the street, real prime opportunity. It could have been a luxury resort for luxury prices, but unfortunately fell behind the wayside. Ragged looking rooms. I remember it being nicer on the inside than it looked on the outside. It looked very dated on the outside, but on the inside, it, like, at least in the rooms and stuff,
still looked good. Yeah.
And stuff,
Yeah, it did. I would go over there during the off season and have lunch with some of the Kings Island officials. Ruth Voss was the PR manager at the time, and we would meet maybe once a month for lunch. She would fill me in what was happening at the park. I would give her updates on what I was doing, and we would start mapping out when I might hit milestone rides and that the next year, because that became part of the marketing plan. There was even a time, it was like 83, maybe 84 range, that Ruth even asked me if I had interest in, maybe wanting to work at the Kings Island Inn. Maybe the guest service part, working the desk or something, or, she knew there wasn't any kind of real PR kind of roles there because a lot of that was being done at the park. But just a way to get my foot in the door. She thought, maybe, would you be interested in this? But the food was good, when in the restaurant. Friend of the show, Jess Novak, he'd come down from Detroit, and, sometimes, after the park closed, we'd go over there to Coasters, and stay for a couple hours there and that. So, I did get to spend a little bit of time there. Never did the overnight stay there, though, but enough to walk around, look at it, see the indoor pool, the outdoor pool, and, what it was, in the 70s. I mean, it was state of the art. It was the place you wanted to stay, and people would extend their stay and be at Kings Island, 4 or 5 days. And that was their vacation if they were coming from, Indianapolis or Columbus, Louisville, Lexington, West Virginia. That's where everybody stays.
Yeah. So let me ask the listeners: do you think that the fate of the Kings Island Inn is set in stone? I mean, as far as no matter what, would it have closed, or if it was still open today, what would it need in order to be successful? Like, what kind of
Right.
updates would it need, and could it still bear the Kings Island name? And what would it? What do you think that a resort of that type would be needed in order to properly complement the Kings Island experience? So leave your comments. Let us know what you think with that. All right,
All
Don,
right.
tell us about t-shirts.
Our Topics t-shirts available. They come in a wicked green this year, $22. That includes your shipping, any size that you need. If you're interested in one, just send us a direct message on our X, which is Tower_Topics. Give us a follow there if you have not already. Or you can just simply drop me an email at donhelbig@themeparksbydon.com. I'll send you a QR code once the transaction goes through. Just takes a matter of days to get your shirt. That email address also is where you can submit a lot of your questions that we'll use. If you're listening to Tower Topics, you always hear the listener question segments. As time goes on, I think the bulk of the questions are coming through now through the email. But if you didn't know that before, that's your place there to send us a question.
Perfect. Let's move on to a little segment we like to call Buy or Sell. So, Don, buy or sell. The racer will be operating at Kings Island in 2050.
Yes, it will.
You buy that? I do too.
I do buy that. Yes, I think the racer will still be running in 2072 when the park turns 100. I think that they did all the work that they did to kind of breathe new life into it, refurbish it with the work they did with the Gravity Group a couple years ago as it approached its 50th anniversary. I think that gives it another 40, 50 years to go too. So I think that ride's going to be one of those wooden coasters that crosses the 100-year barrier.
Yeah, I agree. A wood coaster lives as long as you're willing to maintain it, and so long as you're willing to maintain it. I think that
I do worry about it a little bit now, though. When you see all these different rides getting ripped out, and all in the name of cost saving, sometimes. So you do worry about the older rides like that. Maybe them saying, it's an older ride. Let's not keep going with that. Let's put something new in that spot. But no, I think it's just such a part of the history. Not that that matters to some people, but it's such a part that I think as long as they, put the care into it every year that it needs, I think that ride will be there as long as Kings Island is.
cool. All right, let's move on to some Six Flags headline news.
Well, Knott's Berry Farm is celebrating the 10th anniversary of its popular Boysenberry Festival with new food items, entertainment, merchandise, and more. The festival will run daily from March 28th until April 27th. This year, the food-centric event will feature 80 new savory and sweet boysenberry menu items. That's 80, not 80, such as French toast stuffed with boysenberry cream cheese, a Thai crunch peanut salad with boysenberry peanut dressing, and boysenberry cheesecake crisp pie. So this event has become a staple at Knott's Berry Farm. Guests love it, and I'm looking forward to reading everybody's reviews.
Me too. I've always wanted to make it out to Knott's for the Boysenberry Festival, but that's pretty exciting. 10 years of doing it. So very, very cool. All right. We'll be right back with the listener questions.
First question comes from Kevin from Ohio. He says, I had a dream that Kings Island and Tower Topics teamed up for the teaser campaign for the family throw ride coming in 2026. Like that would ever happen, he says. Do you think they'll tease it this summer, or since teasing isn't really their strong suit anymore, we will just get something minor, hinting that an
I
announcement
think
is
that
coming,
we
like
will
we saw
get
with Camp Snoopy
an
and
announcement that
River
they're going to make an
Racers.
announcement
So
this
Ryan,
Friday at 10
what do you think?
a.m.
You think they'll
And then that Friday at 10 a.m.,
put on
we
a
will
good
get
teaser
concept
campaign, or
art
you think it'll
on
just kind of
social
be mailed
media.
in like the last couple have been?
Yeah.
Facebook and X and Instagram and stories, and maybe TikTok if it's still around. Who knows? Definitely would be a dream there, Kevin, because like you said, like that would happen. But Ryan, I was thinking you and I will be able to ascertain what is happening there, what it's going to be, name everything. We'll know before the park announces it. You and I could, through Tower Topics here, we could create our own little teaser campaign.
We could.
Every episode, we give like a hint about what's happening, do our own stuff. So I think that might be kind of fun. So if you'd like us to do our own teaser campaign, just leave in the comments and tell us you'd love to see that. And then every episode, we'll just add a segment where we start to tease a little bit about what the new attraction will be.
Sounds fun. Right. Next listener question, Mark from Cincinnati. He said, sad to hear you won't be at Coaster Stock, Don. It doesn't feel right that the event's creator won't be there. Did the guy who claims they love riding Diamondback in the morning and their sidekick, Violet Beauregard, not want you there, not wanting you there, play a role in that decision? Cool Willy Wonka reference.
It is.
I don't see the correlation between the person they're talking about and Violet Beauregard, but
no, that had zero to do with it. I mean, they didn't want me to really attend the ACE event, last year, and I went anyway. So that would have zero impact on, their personal feelings about whether or not they wanted me attending Coaster Stock as a participant with everyone else. My decision was based on having committed elsewhere. They're going head to head with another event at Holiday World with Hollywood Nights. I experienced that event last year, was blown away by it. I thought it was a fantastic event. I knew then that if I was fortunate enough to get tickets every year, that I would, be going to Holiday World for that event. Those tremless rides on the voyage. I mean, that's incredible, but just the other things about that event. So I wasn't going to miss that. So going head to head, no, I wasn't going to do that. Now, had it been head to head with, something else, I might have given it some thought, but, the sole reason for having zero, intention of going to Coaster Stock and, trying to be one of those that purchases a ticket, as soon as they go on sale, was just that there's another event that I'm going to be at that I'm very excited about and looking forward to being there. And I know a lot of people who attended past Coaster Stocks. I saw some of them last year at Holiday World, and I'm going to see a lot of them and even more of them, this year had jumped in. So it's going to be a great time. And I'm sure the people that go to Coaster Stock are going to have a great time. And, I'm glad the park brought that event back because it was something that, meant a lot to so many people. And, they look forward to seeing their friends that they met from, other states and at this event, and they're going to get to do that again.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. But Don has got commitments elsewhere.
Yes, I do. I believe you too that weekend.
I do, yes.
All right. Next question is from, where are we at here?
Last one.
Trying to scroll down. There's just so much stuff here. I'm trying to get through.
I know.
Trying to find that question. Going through all the stuff here. All right. This one comes from Wes from Amelia, Ohio. He says, do you think Kings Island's opening day will be sunny, a total washout, or just the kind of rain that makes you buy a poncho and powering through?
Opening day is usually sunny. Preview day is the one that's usually kind of cold and very windy, I've noticed.
I'm going to go with sunny with a 100% chance of thrills.
I'm going to go with cloudy with a chance of meatball.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I'm going to do that joke again. I'm going to go with cloudy with a chance of meatballs. I got to use while we have it loaded up.
You got to utilize that more, don't we? We got to bring the other one we had from the attractions group over to this one too about turtles.
Yeah, we certainly do. I mean, too bad I don't. Oh, wait.
I like turtles.
It's definitely here.
Yeah, we got to be using that one a little bit more. But no, I think that weather-wise in April, you never know what you're going to get. It can be in the high 30s, 40s, or it can be 85. Who knows? But the good thing is, as this episode drops, we are into March,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just over a month away from Kings Island opening for the 2025 season. And it's going to be a great year. I think everyone's going to really like everyone that goes to Silk City Water Park is going to love the new river racers. uh, I think that's a good compliment. It adds to the lineup out there. The different food that they have. I'm looking forward to seeing the events get announced now that we're getting within that 1 month window there. I'd like to see the events and see what we have. I'd like to see the entertainment lineup. I'd like to see what's on the dining plan. What's going to be included there. But we're getting close, and that's always an exciting time because then all these announcements start coming out with a lot more frequency.
Absolutely. And yeah, looking forward to it. I'll be there regardless. Well, I mean, I guess with a monsoon, there's questionable, and maybe if it snows, I wouldn't make it. But hey, it's less likely that time of year than it was when Paramount used to open in the single digit April days. So hey, very cool. Yeah, Kings Island Inn. May it rest in peace. I'm Ryan Sir, along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.